We are so honored to have everyone here tonight. Thank you very much for your time and effort to make it here. And welcome to the City Council meeting of August the 3rd, 2026 in beautiful downtown award-winning Denison, Texas. We'll call this meeting to order. At this time, I would like to invite Pastor Larry Goodman from the New Hope Christian Church to come forward and do our invocation. Please, if you'll rise.
Let us pray. Most gracious Father, we come and we just thank you and we just praise you for this opportunity. Now I pray for the council and all that's present here tonight, that their minds would be one. They would work as one. They would accomplish the things that need to be accomplished for this city. Father God, we pray your peace, your love, and your power. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen.
Amen. At this time, I would like to introduce two-time Purple Heart recipient David Johnson, Commander of Military Order of the Purple Heart Chapter number 612, to the podium to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance and the Texas Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do.
You may be seated. I'd like to recognize that we do have a quorum tonight. Councilman Josh Massey is joining us electronically. We welcome him. And at this time, I have the honor of making a couple of special presentations. So I will come downstairs for a moment. You're going to see my muscle at work here.
It's a little heavier than I thought. Doesn't roll quite as good as I was hoping. But anyway, welcome everyone. And I want to say a special welcome to our state representative, Shelley Luther. Ms. Luther, would you stand? Welcome to our council meeting. And first off, I have the honor this evening of presenting certificates of appreciation to the owners of 8 properties in the downtown Denison area. And on behalf of our city council, I want to extend our sincere thanks to each of you for your commitment to preserving and revitalizing your historic buildings. Your investment and your thoughtful renovation have helped attract new businesses. We have welcomed new residences, and you have breathed new life into our downtown area. Your dedication is strengthening our community and ensuring that our historic downtown area continues to thrive for generations to come. I also want to thank the Denison Development Alliance for their role in all of your projects. They have provided and managed some excellent incentive programs to help with the building renovations. So as I call your names, would you please join me up front? And Representative Luther, if you'd like to join us, we'd like to have you up here as well. The property owners, 119 North Myrick, Spencer and Chelsea McDuffie. 120 West Main, DC and Evan Ramsey. 130 West Woodard, previously Driggs Liquor Store, and also 2533 and 2535 West Morton Street, that's Sugar and Spice Cafe. Mr. Earnhardt, welcome. 230 West Main, Philip Schaffer Law Office. 319 West Chestnut, Cruz and Wendy Acosta. Don Day, 323 West Main. 613 West Armstrong, Gavin Mant. And 506 to 510 West Main, Ernie Pickens and wife. Welcome. Y'all, this group represents millions of dollars that have been invested in our downtown community, our beautiful historic Denison, Texas. So we have a plaque for each of them. So yes, ma'am. This goes to Mr. Earnhardt. Mr. Schaffer is handy. Spencer? Okay.
Thank you.
There's another one for Mr. Earnhardt. A different property. And Evan and DC Ramsey are to your left. Cruz and Wendy Coastal. The Pickens, all the way to the left end. I'm working you out tonight. Gavin Mann. I gave it to the wife, I know. And Don Day. Owning a business is not for the faint of heart. It takes a lot of hard work, and we are so proud that each of these persons have invested in Denison, Texas. We look forward to many years of continued success for your businesses and your properties, and we cannot thank you enough. So let's give everybody a big round of applause. Back up here a little bit. Let's come in a little closer for a picture. And now what many of you are here for, it is my great honor to, as we begin this Purple Heart ceremony, I'd like to invite Sergeant Major Gary Moran, United States Marine Corps retired, to the podium so he can introduce our Military Order of the Purple Heart speaker. Sergeant Major.
Good evening. Hey, I was given the honor to introduce Ishmael Sagredo, Master Gunnery Sergeant, United States Marine Corps, retired. He told me to keep it short. I'm going to really try to keep it super short. However, his accomplishments, they're nowhere close to being short. And this is why I'm so proud to be able to introduce him. I was honored enough to meet him in drill instructor school back in the late 90s. We became drill instructors together, went through the ranks together, got to work as a sergeant major and master guns as we got older and able to help a lot of Marines. I can tell you this, his awards are, and I can go down the line on this, he has multiple campaign awards for serving from Afghanistan to Iraq. For those of us who are veterans, and city council, those of you who know some of these awards, you'll hear his accomplishments. He has multiple combat action ribbons, 2 Navy Achievement Medals, 2 Navy Commendation Medals, one for valor. That means heroic service while under combat with the enemy. He has a meritorious service medal. Man, these awards go on and on. He has a meritorious service medal. Then he has a Purple Heart. With that Purple Heart, he has also been awarded the Silver Star. The Silver Star, I'll go back to that Silver Star in a minute. He's also awarded the Legion of Merit. You'll see all the awards he wears when he stands up here. And I tell you what, that Silver Star is not something that you're given. It's something that you don't even know if you're going to earn it. And in the Marine Corps, we always say this. He's lucky enough to have made it back, and because he made it back, he probably could have had a higher award, a Navy Cross or the Medal of Honor. That's because I set up high enough when I know, when we read through these awards, what's going on. In the Marine Corps, we always step down our awards. He received that Silver Star for sacrificing, and when he did that sacrifice, he was wounded in that event as well. He saved multiple Marines. He saved an officer in a burning vehicle, went back, and he was engaged with the enemy all around him. And he was the only one really able to fight out of this position. So because of that, he was awarded the Silver Star. There's a lot more to that citation, but I said I was going to keep it short. But he also has a Navy Commendation for Valor, which is, again, just that alone is no short feat. So with that, like I said, and he's so down to earth. He became the monitor for all the Marine Corps infantry, and he helped young people. He helped move the Marine Corps around and shape our young generations of upcoming Marines. He was there for when we were changing a lot of things as far as for genders and things of that nature. And that, I mean, you're all the way down at the Pentagon constantly dealing with the politics of that. What a wise man we have here. But again, I'm blessed enough to say friend, brother, Ishmael Sagredo.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Again, my name is Ismael Sagredo. I'm a retired Master Gunnery Sergeant. I am also a recipient of the Purple Heart during Operation Vigilant Resolve during the first Battle of Fallujah in Iraq in 2004. Today, I have the honor of representing Chapter 612 of the Military Order of the Purple Heart as its Junior Vice Commander. I would first like to thank the Mayor of Denison, members of the City Council, the citizens of the City of Denison, all veterans who have served our nation, the families who sacrificed, have supported those who wore our nation's uniform. So how does the city become recognized as a Purple Heart City? First and foremost, there must be a Purple Heart recipient living or deceased with ties to the community. The city adopts an official proclamation recognizing those recipients and commits to observing National Purple Heart Day on August 7th of every year. We are gathered here today because of the dedication and the hard work of community members, city staff, the city council, and the mayor who completed that process so that Denison may proudly join communities across America in honoring those who have shed blood in defense of our nation. The Purple Heart is awarded to members of the United States Armed Forces who are wounded or killed in action while serving our country. Its history begins with the Badge of Military Merit. Established by General George Washington in 1782, it was created to recognize exceptional service and extraordinary valor by American soldiers. Although the award fell into disuse after the Revolutionary War, it was revived in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, and because what we know today as the Purple Heart. Today, the Purple Heart is awarded to those wounded by enemy actions or presented to the families of those who made the ultimate sacrifice. While the criteria has evolved alongside the changes of nature of warfare, its meaning has never changed. It is one of our nation's oldest military decorations still in active use and stands as a lasting symbol of the sacrifice made by our American service members. It reminds us of the true cost of freedom and honors those who have carried both the visible and invisible wounds of war. Today, we gather not simply as residents of a city or citizens of a state. We gather as Americans. We pause to remember what ordinary men and women have done during extraordinary times. They answered the call when our nation needed them most. They willingly accepted hardship, danger, and sacrifice so that future generations could live in freedom. Their unwavering devotion to duty and to one another is a testament to their love of country and their commitment to every American they serve beside. Denison has long been home to men and women who answered that call. Among them was Leonard Eugene Riley, born on December 11th of 1922, who answered his nation's call during the Second World War. Like so many members of what has become known as the Greatest Generation, he served during one of history's most challenging conflicts and returned home carrying experience that would forever shape his life. Mr. Riley passed away in 2015, but his service and the service of every Purple Heart recipient connected to this community remains an enduring part of Denison's history. Today, whether we honor Mr. Riley, another Purple Heart recipient from this community, or all who have borne that distinction, this designation is about ensuring that their sacrifices are remembered not only today, but by future generations who will see that Denison chose to recognize the price of freedom. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today as the city of Denison becomes a Purple Heart city. Today, Denison made a promise, not just to today's veterans, but to tomorrow's children, that when they ask what it means to be a Purple Heart city, someone will still be here to tell them. A promise that the sacrifice of American Purple Heart recipients will never be forgotten. A promise that future generations will understand that freedom has always come at a cost. And a promise that this community will continue to honor those who bore the wounds of war in defense of our nation. Before I leave you today, I would ask one thing of every community representative here. If your city has not yet become a Purple Heart city, I encourage you to begin that journey. Somewhere in your community is a Purple Heart recipient whose story deserves to be told, or a family whose loved one paid the price of freedom. Honor them, remember them, tell their story. If today's ceremony inspires just one mayor, one city council member, or one citizen to just ask, how can our community become a Purple Heart city? Then today's work will have reached far beyond the borders of Denison, Texas, because every town has heroes worth remembering. Every community has a story worth preserving, and every Purple Heart recipient deserves to know that their sacrifice has not been forgotten. May we always remain worthy of the sacrifice of those we honor today. Thank you. Fair winds and following seas.
Thank you all for being here this evening, and I'd like to offer a special thank you to our library director, Greg Mitchell. Greg, would you stand for us, please? Greg, it was Director Mitchell who brought the idea of recognizing Denison as a Purple Heart city to the city. His initiative and commitment to preserving our nation's history and honoring our veterans helped make tonight possible. Thank you, Gunnery Sergeant Ismael Segredo and Sergeant Major Gary Moran for your remarks. Your service and continued dedication to our veterans and our community means so much to all of us. The City of Denison is honored to host this special occasion. And concerning the Purple Heart, it's one of the nation's oldest and most respected military honors. It recognizes those who were wounded or gave their lives in service to our country, and every Purple Heart awarded represents courage, sacrifice, and unwavering commitment to protecting our freedoms. We'd like to recognize Sergeant Porter McBride and his lasting impact on our community. Sergeant McBride served in the Army Air Corps during World War II. He landed at Normandy on D-Day. He was wounded in combat, but regained his health and returned to continue serving. Sergeant Porter serves as a true example of courage, determination, and selfless service. Of course, Porter's service didn't end after the war. He worked alongside Leonard Riley to establish the Purple Heart newsletter. His team helped keep Purple Heart recipients connected and ensured their stories would be remembered and not forgotten. Shelley McBride is here with us tonight. Shelley's father was Sergeant McBride, and after Sergeant McBride passed, Shelley McBride and his company still publish the Texoma Morph newsletter. There's several copies of this on the table as you leave. If you'd like to look at one or take one with you, you'd be most welcome. For many years, Shelley has continued to donate his time and services to the printing of this newsletter, and his dedication has helped preserve his father's legacy and honor Purple Heart recipients throughout the years. Shelley, would you please stand for us? I'd like to mention one other Purple Heart recipient who's no longer with us, but served as the former mayor of Denison, Texas, and that's Mayor Bill Lindsay, a great friend of mine. We had breakfast almost every Saturday morning for many years, and he was the one who taught my three children how to say, "Oorah." So before we present the proclamation, I'd like to recognize the heroes with us tonight. If you are a veteran, would you please stand? And if you are a Purple Heart recipient or a family member representing a Purple Heart recipient, would you please remain standing? So I'd like to invite the Purple Hearts and any other veteran that would like to come forward. As we read this proclamation, you're welcome to come up and be part of this presentation. Come on up. Come on up. And here is the City of Denison proclamation. Whereas the Purple Heart is the oldest military decoration in present use, originally established by George Washington on August 7, 1782, as the badge of military merit, and later revived in 1932 as the Purple Heart Medal, in recognizing soldiers for their faithful and essential service. And whereas the Purple Heart is awarded in the name of the President of the United States to members of the United States Armed Forces who have been wounded or killed in action while serving their country with courage, honor, and sacrifice. And whereas the City of Denison recognizes the extraordinary sacrifices made by Purple Heart recipients and their families who have borne the physical and emotional wounds of war in defense of our nation's freedoms. Honoring Purple Heart recipients serves as a visible reminder of the high cost of liberty and the enduring commitment of our nation's service members to protect and preserve the ideals which the United States was founded. And whereas the City of Denison desires to create a lasting tribute to all Purple Heart recipients, past and present, and to demonstrate its appreciation for their service, sacrifice, and dedication to our nation. And whereas the dedication of the City of Denison as a Purple Heart City reflects the community's commitment to recognizing and honoring all veterans, especially those who have been wounded or made the ultimate sacrifice while serving in combat. And now, therefore, I, Robert Crawley, Mayor of the City of Denison, on behalf of the City Council and all of the citizens of Denison, do hereby proclaim the City of Denison, Texas as a Purple Heart City, and further proclaim that August 7th of each year shall be celebrated as Purple Heart Day. And I encourage all citizens to honor and remember the sacrifices of Purple Heart recipients and their families, to remember those who have given so much in service to our nation, and to express gratitude for the freedom secured through their courage and sacrifice. In witness, I've herefore set my hand and caused the City of Denison seal to be affixed on this 3rd day of August, 2026.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a bit, man. We'll see y'all.
I'm not gonna stop.
Thank you, Chief. All right, now we come down to item number 3 on our agenda, public comments. Citizens may speak on action items listed below. Or on the agenda, a request to speak card should be completed and returned to the city clerk upon arrival and prior to the council approaching or reaching the public comment section of the agenda. Citizen comments are limited to 3 minutes unless otherwise required by law. Comments related to the public hearings listed below, if any, will be heard when that specific hearing starts. Do we have any cards tonight, Madam Clerk?
No, sir.
No cards. We'll move to the consent agenda. Are there any items on the consent agenda that need to be dealt with individually? If not, we'll consider items A through H on the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second. Have a motion by Councilman Redwine, a second by Councilman Thorne. Any other discussion, questions, comments? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Now we'll move into public hearings, item number 5. Mr. Navarro Johnson, if you'd come forward, we are going to receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and take action to approve the Community Development Block Grant 2026-2027 Annual Action Plan. Mr. Johnson, welcome.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor and Council. I appreciate your attention and time this afternoon. As you know, the City of Denison is a recipient of funding through the Community Development Block Grant Program. This is administered by the Department of Housing and Urban Development. As a condition for receiving funding, each year the city is required to prepare an annual action plan. Staff has also prepared a 5-year consolidated action plan, and we are in the 2nd year of the current 5-year period. As part of the process, the city has also had 2 meetings, published the required notice in the Herald Democrat, and made the proposed plan available on the city website for public comment and review. There have been no current public comments in this calendar year. Sorry. Thank you. For the 2026-2027 program year, the city has been allocated $282,342. As that allocation, we are proposing having $173,522 allocated for emergency repair rehabilitation. This funding provides assistance to eligible homeowners with critical repairs, such as roofing repairs, plumbing leaks repairs, sanitary sewer repairs, as well as winter heating and other hazardous conditions that may exist for homeowners who qualify. $10,000 is being allocated this year for substandard structure relocation. $56,468 is being allocated for a code enforcement officer. This is just for an average one salary for a code enforcement officer who's working low to moderate income level areas. Additionally, $42,351 for program administration is being asked to be allocated. The CBDG Steering Committee recommended approval of this annual action plan as proposed. During its June 12th meeting, staff is also recommending the approval of the annual action plan, and we are here for any comments or any questions.
Any questions from council? Thank you.
Thank you.
If not, this is a public hearing, and we declare the hearing open. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of or against this item on the agenda? Hearing none, seeing none, I declare the hearing closed. Back to the council. Any other questions, comments?
I had a question on the funding for the code enforcement employee, and I guess it's $42K for the program administration. Is that pretty typical to have, I I guess out of the 282, roughly 100 of it goes to employees. And these are new positions, I'm assuming?
So they wouldn't be. This is an ongoing position. We have, or the city has, initially for the last several years, given more money towards emergency repair and undercut what the code enforcement officer's position would be. And in addition, the city has also been putting additional funding towards the program administration. Program administration is more so towards, it may not be city staff, it may include our consultant fees and other stuff that other items that are necessary for the management and running of the program. So this allocation is now bringing it up more so closely in line with what the city actually, what the costs are related to the actual operation of the program.
Any other questions or comments? All right, is there a motion to approve the 26-27 annual action plan?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the Community Development Block Grant 2026-2027 Annual Action Plan as presented.
Second.
A motion by Councilman Redwine, a second by Councilman Thomas. Any other questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Now moving to item B, and I believe this is Mr. Johnson as well. Receive report, hold discussion, conduct a public hearing, and take action on the ordinance of the City Council, City of Denison, accepting and approving a service and assessment plan and assessment roles for the Preston Harbor Improvement District, making a finding of a special benefit to the property of the district, levying special assessments against property within the district, and establishing a lien on such property, providing for the method of assessment and the payment of the assessments in accordance with Chapter 372 Texas Local Government Code as amended, providing penalties and interest on delinquent assessments, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Mayor, this item just needs to be tabled to Thursday, to the August 6th date. It's going to go with the PID bonds as a companion item.
All right. This is a public hearing. We will open the hearing at this time, and I would look for a motion to continue the hearing on Thursday, August the 6th at 5 p.m. Is there a motion?
Mayor, I would move to approve the continuance of this item until Thursday, August the 6th, 2026, at 5 p.m.
Second.
Have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Adams, a second by Councilman Courtright. Any other questions or comments, discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. And now we move to item C under the public hearings, but my notes say that this agenda item has been pulled at the request of the applicant. Is that correct? Okay. So we'll move now to item D. Ms. York, if you'd come forward to give us a report, hold discussion, conduct a public hearing, take action on an ordinance for a text amendment to the City of Denison's Code of Ordinances, Chapter 28, being the comprehensive zoning ordinance, specifically Articles 3, zoning districts 28.39, Central Area District, and Section 28.37, Central Historic Overlay District, Article 4.
Thank
Ms. York,
you.
welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The item I have for you tonight is an amendment to Chapter 28 as it relates to what we now call mobile food vendors, formerly known as mobile food units. This amendment, oh, sorry, Chris. I'll just be like, next slide. This amendment is in response to House Bill 2844, which basically overhauled how city or how municipalities can regulate mobile food vendors. We can still, we can't permit mobile food vendors at this, because of this bill, but we still can enact our zoning ordinance. So right now, your mobile food vendors are allowed by right in most non-residential districts, but in the central area and in the commercial historic overlay, there's still a little bit of zoning there, so we need to get that nomenclature or how we designate those mobile food vendors corrected. simple amendment to just the name. We currently have them as mobile food units. That's not in line with the bill, so now we're requesting an amendment to make that change to mobile food vendors as it relates to the Central Area District and the Commercial Historic Overlay. We recommend approval for this, and then if you have any questions, please let me know.
Any questions for Ms. York? Thank you. If not,
Thank you.
this is a public hearing. We'll declare the public hearing open. Is there anyone to speak either for or against this item on the agenda? If not, hearing none, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Back to council. Any other questions or comments? If not, is there a motion?
Mayor, I move to approve an ordinance of the proposed amendments to Chapter 28 zoning.
I second.
We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Adams, a second by Councilman Redmine. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously, and welcome back, Ms. Short.
Thank you, Mayor.
For item E, conducting a public hearing on 2.049 acres of land legally described as the R.J. Ayers Survey Abstract Number 48, commonly known as 7102 FM 1417.
Thank you, sir. The applicant is requesting a rezone of the subject property, commonly known as 7102 FM 1417, from the Ag District to the Light Industrial District. This is case number 2026-59Z. This property was actually annexed into the city of Denison in 2021, and at that time, I believe the property owner, based off of staff reports that I've read, the property owner didn't wish to zone that parcel to accommodate uses, so it just defaulted to ag. The property was developed, under the blue arrow is a structure. So that was actually built prior to the annexation of the property. And the current owners are wishing to expand the operations that they currently have on the property, so they're wishing to build a new warehouse. And in order to accommodate that, they have to rezone that property to be in line with their operations. And so they are wishing to rezone to light industrial. I will say that the future land use map does not really support this request, and that's because in looking at the future land use plan, 1417, 691, and some other major thoroughfares were not taken into account when designated for future growth back in 2018. So when you look at like Highway 75, or you may have heard me say mixed, designated as mixed commercial, those areas are not called out for mixed commercial. They are designated as neighborhood. If you've driven down 1417, that's not how it developed. So this request and this rezone is more in alignment. Right across the street is Caterpillar. There's warehouses to the north, and ultimately down southwest of this property is the airport. So having those industrial uses or a business park type of operation fits that area. And so staff, even though this doesn't align with that future land use plan, staff does support the rezone. And the Planning and Zoning Commission also recommended approval at their meeting on July 28th. I'm present for any questions, and if you have questions of the applicant, they are here.
All right, thank you. Any questions from council for Ms. York?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. This is a public hearing. Declare the public hearing open. And is there anyone here to speak on behalf or in favor of or against this proposal, item E on our agenda? If not, hearing none and seeing none, I declare the hearing closed. Back to council. Any other questions or comments? If not, is there a motion?
Mayor, I move to approve an ordinance changing the zoning of the subject property from the agricultural district to the light industrial district.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Thomas, a second by Councilman Thorne. Any other questions or comments, discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Item F, Ms. York, welcome back. Receive report, hold discussion, public hearing, take action on ordinance for a conditional use permit for the Rusty Chicken at the Rialto Theater, which will be a live music venue. And Ms. York.
Thank you. As the mayor just stated, this is a request for a conditional use permit for property commonly addressed as 424 West Main, but we all know it as the Rialto. So the applicants are requesting this conditional use permit to allow for a live music venue under the use of dance hall or nightclub. The applicant is leasing the structure that we know as the Rialto, and they're in the process of renovating the space to accommodate the operations of the Rusty Chicken. The applicants have previously operated live music venues in Oklahoma. The proposed live music venue is consistent with the guidance for the downtown center found within the comprehensive plan. This request provides an opportunity for the adaptive, reused, and continued preservation of one of downtown Denison's, but also just Denison's at large, most recognizable structures, the Rialto. And the applicants have already received a certificate of appropriateness, or COA, from the Historic Preservation Board, and are working through the building permit process to begin those renovations. I do believe they might have started some, but I can't confirm that. The reactivation of this structure does support the city's long-term vision of encouraging reinvestment in existing buildings while strengthening the downtown district for a destination, or as a destination for the community and visitors. The property is zoned central area, and it does fall within the commercial historic overlay. And as you all may be aware, the central area district does not establish minimum parking standards for uses within this zoning district. Staff does find that the existing combination of on-street and public off-street parking in the surrounding area is adequate to accommodate the proposed use. And the applicants have also established or provided proposed hours of operations within their project narrative. Staff did not recommend that those conditions or those hours of operations be listed as a condition within this conditional use permit. Sometimes outside, or if properties are adjacent to residential neighborhoods, we might request those, but given that this is the entertainment district and there are other entertainment operations, we did not recommend that those hours of operation be established, as we didn't request them in other conditional use permits for this area. As I mentioned earlier, the future land use plan does designate this area as the downtown center. This area is to be developed in a mixed-use activity center with retail, restaurants, entertainment, offices, and medium-density residential uses. And so this request does comply with the future land use plan and the comprehensive plan. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of the CUP as it is provided before you at their meeting held on July 28th, and staff recommends approval of it as well. And I'm present for any questions you may have. The applicant is here as well.
Thank you, Ms. York. Any questions for Ms. York? Thank you. This is a public hearing. We'll declare the public hearing opened. Is there anyone here to speak for item F on our agenda, either in favor of or against this item? Hearing none, seeing none. I declare the public hearing closed. Back to council. Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion?
I have one.
Yes, sir.
I have one, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
And maybe Diane is the right person to answer this. Do we have two questions? One is, do we have a fire suppression plan that will pass the fire marshal's approval? And second, what is the capacity for the nightclub dance hall as the finished product?
So I don't know what the capacity is. Do you want to mention? We expect what Kirk said would be 500 would be the capacity. So based off of what the applicant just told me, per the building official, 500 would be max capacity. And I believe they are working through the fire suppression system as it would be required for this type of occupancy and use.
Okay. And in your presentation, you said that the parking capacity was a non-issue simply because in the central area, we don't have parking per building. I know that at some point we, at the rail yard, were able to handle something like 180 or 200 people for an event, and it had a parking consumption of roughly 2.5 blocks in all directions to meet that standard. So 500 would be a 3x multiplier. That is roughly the downtown area in its entirety, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think at this time there is one. As you may know, just because that's the occupancy, that doesn't mean that's actually how many people would be there. But I would imagine that given and this is from staff's perspective, when you look at Music on Main and how many attend that venue, there's plenty of parking around Forest Park, there's plenty of parking along Main Street, Chestnut, and all the parking lots that not only accommodate that use, but also football games. So I don't think that the applicant has discussed any transit or public transportation to and from those parking areas. And if that's something that you would like for us to work with them on, we definitely could.
Well, I will contradict you respectfully and say that the applicant is absolutely hoping that 500 is the number they hit. Speaking as a owner of a gathering space downtown. So assuming that they are good at what they do and they achieve the goals that maximize their return on investment, we have to prepare for the reality of a 500 parking necessity. And what I'm hearing is that we are conveying that to an event that has been ongoing and well-funded for the better part of 2 decades. And so we have a behavior pattern that is associated with our consumers. Please don't hear me say I am not interested in the Rialto coming back. By anybody who has seen any of my past performances would understand that the Rialto I see as a critical component of this, and this I think is a threading the needle option between what was originally intended and where that could see max use. So I'm fully in support of the idea. I just want to be protecting the other business owners downtown who have sweat through COVID and a streetscape and make sure that those folks are not negatively impacted by the consumption of their parking. So in hours of operation would be a mission critical component unless there is some plan that has a distancing, because I assumed that people would be able to walk a quarter mile to my front door because it was such an attractive food hall, just like they do at a shopping mall, and that assumption turned out to be false. So if we were going to assume that a nightclub in the 400 block is capable of drawing 500 people, let's assume 2 per vehicle, that's 250 parking spaces. That is most of what we have downtown. And so I would like to hear that there's some consideration for that cost to the others in our community. If we could do that, then I'm fully in support of the idea of having something more vibrant downtown that connects the revenue production of any foot traffic we have downtown by another node.
So if I could just kind of clarify or make sure I understand, are you asking that the applicant need to speak to the property owners that have those private parking lots?
The private parking is necessary since we do have public parking, but I would like to see some consideration for what is the radius of a 500 consumer event? How much of our parking are we going to take into consumption and what hours of operation are likely to be, nightclub dance hall, that's probably after hours for most of these retailers. So this is likely to be a non-issue once the data is there.
Is that something that you would like us to do and table the item, or is that something how do you want us to get that information to you?
I am 1 vote in 7. So,
Thank you, sir.
I'm simply expressing my questions for the owner as they have them, and if not, my consideration for future planning.
Could we, yes. Mr. Building Owner, Jonathan Earnhardt.
Jonathan Earnhardt, 110 South Houston Avenue. When we were doing the streetscape, of course, came to every meeting, and I requested in front of the Rialto, we put solely a valet parking pickup. And that idea was turned down because I said our capacity was $600 people, and we could use the parking lots around. The response was given that there's plenty of parking in the area for the 600 parking. We want those spots right there. So that was the plan we did to mediate that. And it was turned down, and we were told there's plenty of parking. We're reducing the capacity by 100 with a CUP. It's 600 as it is, so down to 500 with the fire suppression and the seating. They're turning the top area mostly into a bar and taking a lot of those occupancy spots away.
Mr. Earnhardt, thank you. I appreciate that. My question is, do you have a specific about why that was rejected?
I think they just wanted as many as right there up front versus some sort of pull-in spot, or maybe it just didn't fit the flow of the design.
Were you asking for specific designated spaces for valet within city public parking?
Yes, right in just a drop-off in front of the Rialto. So we wanted our spots just to be a pull-in for drop-off. So then we could valet to every public parking spot around for high capacity, so nobody had to walk.
Speaking as someone who has tried to maximize the capacity of a downtown venue in Denison, Texas, that 100 sacrificial is an expensive compromise to make. So what I would personally like to do, Mr. Mayor, is to table the discussion, because I think there is more consideration that needs to be made to the valet opportunity. I understand very viscerally what it is to have somebody restrict your ability to migrate your consumer to your front door. And I also understand the complaints from your neighbors who have been successful and hardworking business owners when you are asking to consume the parking that would be most efficient for their consumers. And I assure you that that complaint has a negative financial value for the business owners downtown.
Well, my comment on that's just a little bit of the opposite. I think we're trying to drive people down to downtown, and these hours are almost opposite of the most. So it gets you in the process of coming downtown, visiting downtown, and recognizing downtown Denison, bringing the people from farther away instead of just the people here, getting the clientele here. And we're not asking for extra, we're cutting spots out. So we're asking y'all to issue the CUP and reducing parking spots in that matter while bringing more people in, where if we just got a CO, we wouldn't even be here.
And to support what, oh, go ahead, Josh.
I agree with you that a valet in the front of your building would make an efficiency of all the other businesses downtown, would be an add-on to your business service, and if it potentially opened up 100 extra seats in your space, would be a profit center for your tenant. So I'm not disagreeing with you. I think that what has been offered here is a compromise that I think there is a better solution to this for both the business, the building owner, and downtown as a community at whole. If you are asking me to not object to it as it sits because you no longer pursue the valet, then I will rescind my request for a tabling.
Yeah, we're not asking for the valet no more. It doesn't mean we won't try to implement that like in another way. Obviously, the road's been built. We wanted, a special design spot there at the time. So we're not asking for that now. Now, if it comes up later, we might ask for rights to block it off or something like that. But I would say that would come along with the building of the business over time if it came as a necessity.
A lot of the people that come to downtown Denison, they may go to the George, the Chop House, and the Real. They'll just park somewhere and walk downtown, much like a mini Austin. You don't park in front of the venue you go to in Austin. I think they are, the people that want to go see live music are going to park somewhere and be able to be mobile enough to walk. It would be my opinion.
And that's what the streetscape was designed for, to make it walkable
Right.
and desirable and try to get everybody to walk. And then you're going across every business a little bit slower. So you're trying to spread that and get everybody around for
Right.
sure.
Do we know what the hours of business will be, hours of operation?
I do not personally.
6 to 12 or something, right?
Yes, 6 to midnight, Thursday through Saturday, and then Sunday, 1 to 6 p.m. And potentially some expansion, just getting people in and out, but thank you.
See where there'll be a lot of impact on retail
No,
business
that'd be
owners
closed,
or
yeah.
food establishments, but
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Shore.
It should also be noted that the applicant will not be selling food, correct? So I think their intention was to provide the music and then hopefully drive people coming in to see the music, go eat beforehand, typically what you do before concerts. And so that was kind of their goal with not providing food.
Right.
I really support the
questions for me?
Any other questions? So, Councilman Massey, do you wish to make a motion, or what would you like to do?
Given the property owner's request, I will rescind my request for a tabling. I do not have the verbiage for the first motion, so if one of my other council members could start that, I'll happily support it.
All right.
Mayor, I move to approve a conditional use permit to allow for a live music venue under the use dance hall or nightclub.
I second.
We have a motion by Councilman Thomas, a second by Councilman Redwine. Other discussion or comments?
Yes, sir.
All right. Motion's on the floor. All of those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. And
Thank y'all.
Thank you very much. And we are down to item number G. Ms. York, if you'll come back and talk to us about 3101 Woodlawn Boulevard, please, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. We are actually, staff is asking that the council table this item. The Monday before the Planning and Zoning Commission, the applicant called our office and asked that we table it from the Planning and Zoning Commission. We sometimes, if the zoning is working and we have no issues with the case, we'll notice for the P&Z Commission as well as City Council within the same notice, which is what we did here. So this meeting was noticed, and so just to give some transparency and to make sure that the public knows, we are asking that staff ask that the council open the public hearing. I'm going to ask Chris to make sure, open the public hearing and continue it to the council meeting on August 17th, along with taking action on the item at the August 17th meeting. Is that correct? Somewhat-ish? Okay. Thank you, Chris.
All right, thank you very much for your comments there. This is a public meeting, and we'll open the public meeting. And at the request of the applicant, is there a motion to table action on item G until August the 17th? Is there a motion?
Mayor, I would move to approve the continuance of this hearing until August the 17th at 6 p.m.
Second.
Have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Adams, a second by Councilman Courtright to revisit this item on August the 17th at 6 p.m. Any other questions or comments? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Item H, we have word that the applicant has requested this item be pulled and not considered. So we will grant that wish by the applicant. And so now we move to item number 6, items for individual consideration. Ms. Amber Pilcher, welcome. And it's a long way from way back there to way up here, so glad you're here. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on this item tonight. So staff is seeking financing approval for a few fire department vehicles and outfitting equipment that you had already previously approved the purchase of these items. So tonight is just approving the financing, bundling those items together and financing for those. We are looking for financing for Station 4, so the station that will be out at Preston Harbor, a new ambulance for that location, and a brush truck purchase, as well as outfitting those vehicles with radios and some equipment, and also outfitting the newly purchased Station 4 ladder truck that we just did the financing on. We're going to add some radios and things to that. And then also, lastly, the reimbursement of a purchase of Station 2's brush truck that we received the brush truck, and we're just looking for reimbursement on that. So we're bundling all those items together for financing. And in June, we sent out requests for quotes to several financial institutions that have shown interest in supporting the city with financing opportunities. We received 6 proposals back. Interest rates were ranging from 4.27% to 5.75%. Clayton Holdings was the lowest interest rate at 4.27%, and the lowest annual payment amount at $195,409.90, and this is for a 7-year term. So we are requesting the financing be approved with Clayton Holdings at a rate of 4.27% with 7 annual payments, and this will begin in fiscal year 27. We recommend approval of the purchasing and reimbursing resolution with Clayton Holdings LLC, and I am happy to answer any questions.
All right, any questions for Ms. Pilcher?
What's the total financing? I'm sorry.
The total financing is, it is $1,197,059.78 for a 7-year term. It's 1 annual payment a year.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? Is there a motion?
Mayor, I move to adopt the resolution granting approval for the interim city manager or her designee to enter in various loan documents with Clayton Holdings LLC for the purchase of an ambulance, reimbursement of 1 Skeeter brush truck, purchase of 1 Skeeter brush truck, and purchase of radios and final outfitting equipment for emergency vehicles in the amount of $1,197,059.78, subject to final legal review and approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Adams, a second by Councilman Thomas. Any other questions or comments? Discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. And item number 7 on our agenda is a project update. I'd like to invite Chief Jacks to come forward and tell us about some updating on Denison Fire Rescue Emergency Medical Services and rates. Thank you, sir.
Mayor, Council, I'm here to introduce Kevin Coyle he'll be giving a presentation on the possibility of adjusting our EMS billing rates. Kevin Coyle is President of Revenue Optimization Solutions, which performs the rate-setting work being presented today. ROS advises state and local governments on EMS revenue enhancement, rate-setting improvements, supplemental payment implementation, and reimbursement and cost reporting. Mr. Coyle has more than 24 years of Texas experience supporting local government, fire departments, and EMS agencies to improve revenue and financial performance. So I'd like to introduce Kevin Coyle.
All right, thank you, sir. Welcome, Mr. Coyle.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. City Council, thank you for having me here today. I'm here to present a little bit of the background on the rate setting work that we've done with fire rescue, and also present the rates that we have come up with as part of our work with the city. So we started this work with fire rescue as part of a state legislation that was renewed in the 89th legislature last summer, Texas Senate Bill 916. It allows for EMS agencies around the state to receive additional or enhanced reimbursement for the services that they provide and bill for. And as a part of that, the fire rescue department would need to enter updated rates into the Texas Department of Insurance EMS database. If they do that, then they would be able to receive enhanced reimbursement from the insurance companies that are regulated by the Texas Department of Insurance. That's about 20% of all insurance products in the state. If that happens, then you'd be looking at about $150,000 in additional revenue to fire rescue on top of what they're collecting right now. So just a little bit about Senate Bill 916. There's a handout, I think, as well that has more information on page 1. But really the crux of this, and the reason that that myself and my team have done the work, is that as part of Senate Bill 916, there is sort of an enforcement clause. So if the Texas Department of Insurance goes out and reviews the rates that are in the TDI EMS database, and they're not based on a sound methodology or good data, then there are penalties, payback penalties, potentially, Medicaid ID revocation and stuff like that. So it's the reason for myself and my team doing the work is to make sure that in our review that there is a sound methodology in place for the rates that will go or hopefully go into the TDI EMS database. So the other thing with Senate Bill 916 is that there is a limited time for this opportunity. The bill is set to sunset September 1, so about a year of revenue opportunity here. So the next page is just a little bit on the fees as they are now. So you're looking at, if you are looking at that slide, the second one down is ALS 1 emergency, set at currently $855 per transport. That is where we are today. It's significantly less than the cost of providing the service. And in looking at all of the rates, at least that are listed here under the current fee column, they're all set below the actual cost of providing the service. So our approach, our methodology kind of started with just setting the rates at cost to get reimbursed for the cost of providing the service. Next slide. In terms of a sound methodology, the Federal Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services look at cost-based reimbursement as a proven methodology, and one that they are more than that they use quite a bit in federal rate setting and all of that. So it's a good methodology, a good approach, and we are also using FY 2025 data to just make sure that it's the most current information. So the next slide, if you take a look at that, the costs that we were using from the FY 2025 data were related to the department, personnel operating, depreciation expenses. We also use statistical information to allow us to build these rates, and at the end of the day, the rates are of sound methodology and using current data, so it kind of satisfies both aspects of 916 to make sure that both of those things are in place if there is a review. Turning to page 7, the blue column identifies the cost-based rate, or the cost of providing each of the services in blue. The middle gray column identifies the current rate, and then the green rate to the right is the recommended rate. The calculated rate, if you look at, again, A0427 ALS1 emergency, the most prevalent service provided by fire rescue, you'll see that it's looking, it's $1,786.64. The current rate is $855, and then the recommended rate, the rate that we would like the city to kind of review, would be the ones in green that are just smoothed out, rounded, so that it's not to the penny. But the next page talks a little bit about the revenue and how that is calculated. But basically, what we're looking at would be a 1 year of revenue opportunity. If the legislation is extended, then the city will see revenue, at the current rate beyond the 1 year period. But what we're looking at is $149,000, $150,000 in revenue based on the recommended rates versus the current rates. We don't recommend any changes to the supplies, and there's no revenue under Senate Bill 916 for any treatment in place or treatment no transport. The rates and And the cost-based methodology is in line with national averages and local averages. When you look at the national averages here on this slide, the cost of all services provided is across the country $2,458 per transport. When you're looking at the city of Denison, you're looking at $1,838. So the costs are not out of the ordinary, or exorbitant or anything like that. They're actually below the national averages. And when you look at the averages for North Texas on the next slide, for the providers in North Texas, the recommended rate is in green, and then in the far right blue column would be the North Texas averages that are currently in the Texas Department of Insurance EMS database. As you look at those are, some are higher, some are lower. Nothing is really out of the ordinary. They're in the range of the other North Texas providers that are currently in the database. So in terms of it being in line with your neighbors, then that's sort of where that stands. The next slide talks a little bit, last slide talks about the impact on residents and non-residents within the that are served by fire rescue. So in fiscal year 25, there were 4,241 transport services or billable events that were provided by fire rescue. When you start looking at that and you start looking at the breakdown of that, when you take away the insurance products where they are fixed payers like Medicare and Medicaid, where there's no balance billing, the military insurance products, some of the facility insurance products, that take away the folks that are part of the city's charity program, et cetera. You take out the non-residents, you're left with about 373 residents that might be impacted by these higher rates. And what I mean by that is that they would see a bill for the higher rate amount if it is approved. So instead of $855, they would see the bill for, say, ALS 1 at $1785.
Out of those 373, what does that typical resident customer look like? Age-wise, insurance, private insurance, do they have insurance?
Commercial insurance is the bulk of that. Within that, there's a small portion, about maybe 40 or so patients, if you will, that were part of facilities that didn't have contracts with the city, or they were uninsured individuals. But the majority, about 340-ish, are insured individuals. So that's it. Questions, I guess?
Any questions, comments? This is a...
It seems like we are adjusting to cover our costs almost.
Yes.
And that will be a residual annually consistent from here forward unless the law changes.
Correct, yes, and it would just be for the EMS services. The non-EMS services are not built into the rates.
Understood. No additional questions.
This is a project update, and we'll take no action this evening, but we, Mr. Coyle, we appreciate
Sure.
the information, and we'll take it under advisement.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Move now to item number 8. We have an executive session tonight for consulting with an attorney on a matter in which the attorney's duty to governmental body under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct conflicts with this chapter, and or consults with an attorney about pending or contemplated litigation or contemplated settlement of the same, section 551.071. Items 1, city manager recruitment. Item 2, standard properties and chapter 54, procedures and policies. Item 3, confer with attorney regarding potential development in the tax increment reinvestment zone number 3. And item D, discuss the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment of duties, discipline, or dismissal order here completing is to public officer or employee, section 551.074, city manager recruitment. And then item G, deliberations regarding economic development negotiations pursuant to section 551.087, discuss potential economic development project in tax reinvestment zone number 3. The time is 7:23, and the council is now adjourned into executive session. P&Z staffers, thank you, sir. It's the time now is, thank you for hanging in here. The time now is 8:48. We'll reconvene the city council meeting from executive session. We had items in executive session, item A1, 2, and 3, item D1, and item G1. I report to you that no action is taken. Is there anything else to come before the council?
Let's go home.
If not, the meeting's adjourned at 8:48 p.m. Thanks, everyone.